which helps us with our road maintenance out there. So lots of good things happening in our community. First of all, 4th of July, guys, don't forget about that. I don't know how you can. How many of you been here, never been to our 4th of July celebration before? No? Oh, look at that. Fantastic. It's going to be fun. We have a great time at our 4th of July. Dana right there. You can thank her. She's the one that coordinates that every year for us, puts it together, and we always throw things at her for this. Are you going to be in the parade? Awesome. Yeah, our parade's great. We have all sorts. We got a fun run. There's no such thing as fun. So if you'd like to run, we're going to have that down at the River House in the morning, right?
Yes, and if I can just make a couple of quick announcements, since there's so many new people here, State Street and Star Road is going to be closed. Please don't email me on Monday telling me that you didn't know the road would be closed.
Yeah, for the 4th of July?
Yes.
Yes.
And then
Yep.
the other new thing for this year is that both parking lots at Hunters Creek are going to be closed. You will not be able to park at the park unless you have an ADA placard. And we have a hop on, hop off shuttle. And there's information on our website about where those stops are going to be. So hopefully
three shuttles, right?
3 buses are going to be running.
So this is the first year we're trying that. We're going to have different locations in the city for people to park and take the shuttle to the events that we have going on throughout the day, which is awesome. It doesn't cost anybody anything to use it. It just makes it I think things flow a little bit better out there. Then we have our parade there in the afternoon. We have a pie auction down at the River House. We also have a luncheon. I think that the Lions is doing the lunch for us. The pie auction is a fundraiser, I think, still for the senior center that we have. It's kind of fun. If you like to cook pies, it's a good event to get involved with. There's a lot of people that will spend stupid money on pies. That's for certain. Yeah.
It's still going to go down to the end of the.
Yeah, the parade ends at the grade school, correct? Yeah. So it starts down here at Seneca Springs. Goes down Highway 44, takes a right up Star Road and ends at the elementary school up there. So a lot of people. I mean, it's a lot of people. People ask, when you put chairs out? Here, you put them out whenever you want. We have them a days in advance, it seems like, out there, right? What else on the parade? Oh, and then we have at the park in the afternoon about 3 o'clock, I think. 4 o'clock this year for the kids. Water events that are out there at Hunters Creek Park. Our fire department usually is out there with a truck spraying kids, and they put big tanks out there with little water guns that they can take and spray back. And then we have bouncy house water things out there for the kids too to use. And then in the evening time, we do our concert out there right before, and then I give it a little address before our fireworks show goes off. If you've never been there, if you see explosions, that is a real thing. That's freaked people out before going there, but we cross our fingers that nothing happens out there and all the fireworks go off at one time again like it did a few years ago. But so it's going to be fun. Next year, do we know what next year is? It's our 250th birthday. It's going to be absolutely insane here in Star, I think, for that, because I'm all about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness here in the city, right? Following our Declaration, our Constitution and stuff here. So we're gonna have a great time. We also this year, our historical committee has a time capsule this year that they're gonna collect stuff. I think there's some information. Is it on their website on that? Oh, in the newsletter. Okay. About this year's time capsule, but we're gonna do another one next year for the 250th that's not gonna be open until the 300th. Birthday of the United States. So plan for that too. We're going to figure out the details for that as well at that time. So that's what's coming up here, obviously in a week. And for those of you that are not here, there is a ton of aerial fireworks that get shot all over this area. Police and the fire cannot stop those. It's just going to happen. Nothing you can do about that, right? As long as they're selling them in some of these other locations, they're going to go off. All right. I do know Ada County says no fireworks in the unincorporated areas. Typically, they'll sign that declaration probably next week again on that. And that's just to protect, because you saw the fire that happened up here last week on the Valnova side. They think that he's either from a chain from a vehicle or somebody's cigarette. And that's how fast that went up, that 100 acres up there, right? Pretty crazy. Other than that, that's a lot of stuff going on. Chip sealing, guys, is going to continue. You know, it's our turn. I think it's every 7 years. Every 7 years that they do this, the chip sealing on these roads. It's a maintenance function to make our roads last longer. It's an important function. So the people that hate it, I get it. This is what you moved into when you came here, is this kind of function and what we do here, right? Just drive slower on those rocks so we're not spitting them up on everybody. I did see I didn't realize we had so many street sweepers with ACHD, but I saw a ton of them yesterday out on some of the roads around Plummer and Floating Feather and the school up there, sweeping up those, getting ready to put a fog seal down, and then they'll come back. If it's a road that gets striped, they'll come back and stripe it after that, and then we're done for 7 years. You won't have to see it again on our area, right, for at least 7 years. We did, let me give you some updates on some transportation stuff with ITD. ITD is, we've been working hard with them to try to get some projects going here. My phone in Star. Let me look up, just so I can give you some right data here real quick. Let's see. We do have, so this section that's right between the Star Road and Highway 16. Originally they were supposed to start it in 2024, and then they pushed it way out to 2029, which really frustrated us on there on getting that done. But we got them to move it up into the 2026, 2027 timeframe on there. So you're going to start seeing construction on this section probably late next year into 2027. They anticipate that to be about a $20 million project that they're doing out there. They also just bid out the Highway 16 and 44 overpass as part of the Highway 16 project, bid out earlier this month. I think it was a roughly $65 million project where Highway 16 is going to go over 44. They're going to start mobilizing for that project and get that going here in August this summer. So you're going to see some different, similar to what they're doing up there at Chinden and Highway 16. It's probably going to be similar where they're going to divert traffic while they're building the main section on there. They also are looking at 2027 to do a widening of Highway 16 from Highway 44 all the way out to Beacon Light. So originally that wasn't planned to be done, but with all the growth that's out that way, they moved that up to 2027. What that includes is an overpass for Floating Feather going over to the Eagle side. There will be no more on and off ramps there or access to Highway 16, so that limits us. I couldn't get them to change that. That's frustrating, but it's what we're dealt with right now, okay? But you'll be able to cross over the Eagle side with that overpass as well, and that's all included. And I think they anticipate that to be like a $50 million project or so. So they're investing a ton of money in our area and our community over the next few years to help with transportation. It's going to be extremely painful with that, but there will be relief at the end when it's done. I promise you that. ACHD is doing their integrated 5-year work plan update. So they have a plan to show projects and they update it every year based on our comments and stuff like that. I have a meeting with Director Head next week. He's going to go over our stuff. So I'll get more information on that. But I do know that Star Road this fall is in the design phase of widening, I can't even say it, widen, I'll just say that, how about, from Highway 44 to Chinden, which includes a new bridge over the Boise River. The timing on when it's going to go in several phases, I believe, on that. I think probably the bridge might be first, and then either the north section of that from the river this way, and then the south section on there. So that'll be probably a several year project when they get that put in the plan to be built. Okay, that'll be painful as well. Kingsbury, we've asked for a new bridge at Kingsbury, and City of Nampa is actually, they have a whole transportation department that's taking the lead on trying to get some federal funding to do the study over the river to be able to put that new bridge down there, because that's an important function for us here in our area. I think it's a 7-mile stretch between bridges between here and Middleton. So that forces everybody this way. So over 70% of the traffic that comes through Star does not from Star. It originates out of Canyon County and those communities over there. So if we can try to divert some of that up that's going to be years down the road. I won't say it won't be in my lifetime, because I never thought Highway 16 would get finished in my lifetime, and they changed that here not too long ago. We're also asked ITD to study and evaluate a new highway north of town that would go from Interstate 84 north of Middleton, connect to RE Way over here where the Valnova project is in Eagle. And that new highway would help us as well with traffic flow down here and get us to move around and be able to get us between Interstate 84, Highway 16, and Highway 55. Because that Valnova project will eventually connect to Highway 55 here in the future. So those are some of the transportation things that we see. There's more little details in there with the integrated 5-year work plan. I won't know that until next week when I meet with Director Head on that, yeah.
Gonna take this opportunity to add more stoplights and low speed limits.
Or down here? Okay, so the question is, are they going to take the opportunity to lower the speed limits and more stoplights? What we have approved already with ITD is a stoplight at Seneca Springs. That's the only other stoplight that'll go in this section, except for Canada Road. Canada Road, Blessinger, and Kingsbury also are slated to have stoplights. A development that was approved by the council, part of our agreement with them is this development has to put the stoplight in at Kingsbury. So that's going to come ahead of time, right? The Canada light is going to come in with the Willowbrook development. Whenever they come in with their preliminary plat, they were required to put that light in there before the golf course opens up there. The one here at Seneca Springs, that's a different animal. The businesses and stuff that are being approved and built over here are contributing to that light, but they're not going to be contributing 100%. So that's going to be a process between the development community and the city of Star and getting that light funded on there. So the speed limit is a different animal altogether. This is an ITD function. I was just in a meeting before this, and we're working on a downtown revitalization plan. Part of that plan is parking, and we talked about lowering the speed limit and making it consistent. The problem is we got multiple speed limits from Highway 16 to Canada Road, and we wanted one speed limit. ITD has to do a speed study on that, right? And then once they do that speed study, we're going to give them our suggestions on that, but once they do that speed study on there, then we can get that speed limit changed all the way across this section here. Yep. Any other questions on the transportation front? So this timeline is based on the development timeline, right? So once they start that development on Kingsbury, they have to have that in. The one on Canada Road is going to be based on when Willowbrook has the golf course done, because before it opens, they have to have that light in. Okay. The one at Seneca Springs here it's just going to be something we're going to have to work on with the development community on that too, as a city.
Is there a way, Star, to get a ordinance for them to cover?
We cannot force the cover. The state law does not allow us to force the cover of these gravel trucks. They treat them as agricultural trucks. This is something that we've already been fighting in the years past. So my suggestion is to get with your legislatures to try to get some of the laws changed to force these guys to cover. I've had 3 windshields on my Jeep break because of the gravel trucks. So you're not alone. I had a big one like this come through my passenger side that flipped up out of a tire. It came out of their double wheel tires, right? Flipped up and came right through my window on that. So that's a challenge, right? What we are doing though, since we're talking about this a little bit, the Jake braking that we're hearing a little bit, we are working on signage and stuff like that so the police can enforce the Jake braking so they don't do that. If you have to Jake brake, you're going too damn fast in our city, right? Driving those big trucks, right? And so we are getting signage made and put up in different locations so we can help with that Jake braking. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. So that's the widening that ACHD is working on the plans this fall on widening that. The timing we don't know yet. So that was development driven. So that widening that happened up on the top that took like 2 years, it seemed like, right? That widening up on the top was the Inspirato development on the left was required to do that as part of their project with ACHD required that. This design and studies and decide if they have to make that wider, if this is going to be a 5-lane deal. If you notice on the hill, even going up the hill, this west side was widened out a little bit. They're going to have to widen that out even more when they make that 5 lanes. They got like 5 bridges that they have to design for along that. No, you're good. Go ahead. Where Joplin is?
Oh.
Yeah, Oakland on the bottom. So Star Point on the right, there is no commercial up there. It was all approved as residential. Everything on that is residential. The Inspirato on the east side, there, you see a water tank being built up there right now. It's a 750,000 gallon water tank, right? And so it's additional storage for water for all of that area up there and down below for us. And so that's what's going in right there. But all that frontage on Highway 2026 and Star Road, that's open is all commercial in that area, right? That one piece down there on the bottom at Oaklawn, that's right there in front of the pond along the road, that's always been slated for a commercial piece. No, it's all residential up there. Yeah. Yep. And there's supposed to be a light up there too, by the way. Yeah. Yeah. There's supposed to be a light up there. Yeah. In Willowbrook, up in the foothills by Hillsdale is that project up there. There will be, and it's not, it's got to reach a certain threshold before it's warranted to be put in. And so the light will be put in at some point. People could come and ask for anything, but they have not come to the city to make a request that change. Right now, it's all residential right there. On the west side. On the west side. Yeah. Yeah. You got a letter? Oh, then they haven't, but so, okay, so let me tell you, let me explain the process then on that. Okay. So reason you got it, oh, good. Reason you got the letter is because before they submit an application to the city, they have to do a neighborhood meeting. Doesn't mean that we're going to know what's going on and what they're proposing at the time. Because we don't know anything about it. That's why, right? Yeah, I don't know a thing about it. Yeah. So I'll be interested. I'll look at that after we're done. Yeah. So anyway, so that's the first part. So they do that, then they can submit their application. So within like 3 to 6, I think they have up to 6 months and start to submit their application after the neighborhood meeting. And then we send it to the agencies and we schedule a public hearing and do all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Now, Star goes to Chinden, all the way to Canada Road. Canada Road, yep. That's all Star right there. Yep, yep. Yeah, you tell Meridian to stay out of our business. I tell them that all the time, so. Did they? Yeah, yeah, I'm sure. Any other questions on transportation stuff? Well, that was easy. All right. So what we'll do is I'm going to have Chief talk about his stuff just real quick, and then I'll open up for questions just in general for anything and everything. All right. Okay.
Well, I'm Chief Zach Hessing. So just, I know I feel like I always repeat myself in these meetings, but there's a few new people I noticed today. So I'll kind of explain a little bit about Star Police. So Star Police has 20.25 commissioned deputies. I know it's kind of a funny number, and I'll explain that here. We are a contract city. So what happens is the city of Star actually pays the Ada County Sheriff's Office for police services. So I've got two roles. I'm a lieutenant at the Ada County Sheriff's Office assigned as the chief of police for Star. The 20.25, so we have 10 patrol deputies that work 24/7, 365. And there's 4 different shifts out there. We have a day shift, a late day, a swing, and a graveyard. And then we have 2 sergeants for each side of the week that monitors those deputies who are working. And then we have a POP team, which consists of three deputies. And that POP team is a problem-oriented police team. 2 of them are driving around in unmarked blue Ford Explorers. I don't know if you've seen those around. But that's 2 of them. The third one is actually a K9 deputy who drives a fully marked black Tahoe. And then we've got 3 detectives. So 2 of those detectives are person crime detectives. So any felony crime that happens from person to person, they investigate. They do investigate some misdemeanor stuff, including domestic violence. Anything that could be of a violent nature, they investigate. And then we have 1 property crime detective that does any felony property crimes that happens within the city of Star. And then I've got code enforcement just started. He's been on, Cameron Stewart's his name. He's been on with us for about 2 months now, which we're glad to have him. He's been really busy going around, making sure people are not parking their cars on the streets, making sure that with these construction sites, and I'm sure some of you have seen it where it gets pretty dusty. So he goes around and reminds them to put water down kind of enforce those types of ordinances. The .25 position is our school resource officer. So Alan Takeuchi works for Star Middle School. And usually during the summer, because City of Star doesn't pay for that position, it's actually Ada County Sheriff's Office and West Ada School District. Usually during the summer, they go work patrol in unincorporated county. But what City of Star did to help us out with the Freedom Park area and the different parks, we asked for a budget increase of .25 to pay to keep him out here for the 2.5, 3 months during the summertime to help with the Freedom Park issues. There's a lot of people that show up down there. So to have his presence down there and to work any type of juvenile crimes that happen during the summer, that's that .25. But I know that we've been really busy the last couple of months with traffic. I'm sure a lot of you have seen traffic going through subdivisions. We have quite a few complaints of people speeding through. We've got a lot of trucks. I don't know if somebody mentioned the gravel trucks a little bit that go through subdivisions. We can't stop them from going through subdivisions, but we absolutely can enforce them speeding or using the Jake brake, which I'm really glad the City of Star is willing to purchase some signs to put up more signage for us so we can enforce that a little better. I was out playing golf, and I'm a horrible golfer. But I was on one hole, and one truck passed by 3 times, and each time uses Jake brake, and it made me really mad. So
It really screwed up his golf game.
it really did. So we are busy doing that. We are writing a lot more parking citations than we ever had before because of the issues that we're seeing at Freedom Park. Usually we're not huge on writing citations, but we're getting increasing more and more because of the issues that we're seeing that we're not giving out as many warnings we used to. We need to start stepping up more enforcement and violations because people are speeding in areas and also parking in areas that they shouldn't be parking in. So, but I'll take any questions. That's kind of real quick synopsis of Star PD, but. Yep. So the question is about e-bikes and ATVs and where they can ride. So it's one of my favorite topics right now because these e-bike companies are making more and more powerful e-bikes. They're going a lot faster than when I was a kid, right? Just to verify between what a motorcycle and e-bike is, if it doesn't have pedals on it, it is a motorcycle. We've stopped quite a few kids lately that are riding the motorcycles, electric motorcycles, and they're like, "Oh no, it's an e-bike. If it doesn't have a pedal on it, it's not a bicycle." If they can go over 30 miles an hour, it's considered a motorcycle. So you see a lot of e-bikes. They'll do about 28 miles an hour. That is a bike, but if it goes over 30, it's now considered a motorcycle. So where they can ride. So if you have an e-bike that's actually got pedals on it, you can ride on the pathways. You can do that. I think Freedom Park area, I've seen them over there riding with, as long as again they have pedals on it and they're being reasonable, not speeding through and not causing any danger. They can do that. But kids on e-bikes or e-motorcycles, electronic motorcycles, if they're riding them on the road, they have to be licensed. They have to be registered. The driver has to have a driver's license. And they have to have insurance, just like a regular car. ATVs, UTVs. So UTVs, you have to have it registered. You have to be able to insurance and a driver's license. You have to obey all those 3 laws. You can't go on anything. They changed the law recently. I think it was last June. So about a year ago, they changed where they can go on roads up to 65 miles an hour. So they can go on any road around City of Star, even Highway 16. But again, they have to have those 3 things. Golf carts. So now that's the other thing that this is how tricky the laws are getting because the new technology we're getting. So you have neighborhood electric vehicles, NEVs, and then you have golf carts. And there's a difference between those. So golf carts are anything that goes under 25 miles an hour. And if you're driving those, you have to have a driver's license. And you cannot go on any road that's over 25 miles an hour. So they can go on certain areas in the subdivisions. They got to stay off of like Floating Feather, Pollard, those areas they can't. I've even had one gentleman that called and said, "Hey, I'd like to play golf at River Birch. Can I ride down Pollard?" I said, "Nope, because it's 35 miles an hour." NEVs, neighborhood electric vehicles, which you'll see some of those. And again, it's slight variance of differences, but those are anything that goes over 25 miles an hour. those have to still have, just like UTVs, they have to have registration, they have to be insured, and they have to have a driver's license. And so sometimes we see kids with several kids that are riding on a golf cart. If none of those kids have a driver's license, we can cite the kid, and we can actually cite the parents as well for allowing your child to drive without a license. We've had pretty good response we've had a few parents that have been cited. We don't like doing that. Star Police is not, we're not out there trying to, I was a kid. I loved riding around different motorcycles, doing that type of thing. The problem is it's causing a danger. And last year, we had a horrible wreck where there was, I think, 4 or 5 kids on a golf cart. They took a corner too fast. It rolled, and a couple of kids ended up to the ER. It was horrible. So we're starting to step up a little bit more of, hey, parents, you need to be parents, and you need to tell your kids that you can't drive. If they don't have a driver's license, they can't drive the golf cart. Some of them think, well, it's just a golf cart, they can drive it. Nope, that's not true. So I hope that kind of answers your question a little bit.
Okay, yep.
Yeah, so
Volunteer program, I just gotta, because do we have anybody online right now? Okay, good. So I don't want to worry about them. Usually I have to repeat the question just so they can hear it. Oh, we are recruiting. Okay, so let's just say you asked about the volunteer programs, specifically in patrol with Ada County.
yep. So
It's the generator.
Star Police, before January of this year, we didn't have a volunteer program. We just started one. We only have 1 volunteer, and I think we have 3 that are in background checks for the volunteer program. So one of the things I think that people don't realize, there's a lot of liability for a police department to have volunteer, because they'll wear a polo shirt that says Star Police on it. Obviously, they don't wear a gun or anything on those lines, but they have to go through the full background check just like any other deputy. So it takes, because of the amount of deputies we're hiring through the Ada County Sheriff's Office, they can take a lot of time because they kind of take the back burner when it comes to volunteers, because we got to get our commissioned and our other people hired, our full-time guys and gals. But for the volunteer, they still go through the same exact background. They go through a polygraph. And then once they pass all that, then they can be hired. Our volunteer program is very simple and STAR. They're an extra set of eyes and ears for us. Right now, Phil Sardinia is our only volunteer. Again, I think we have 3 more that are in background that we're hoping to hire. And then I've had 2 more people reach out wanting to help. Phil has been phenomenal in helping out with Freedom Park. And so what they do is they have the option they can either walk around the parks, they can ride. We have 2 e-bikes. They're actually our bicycles. They go 28 miles an hour and they have pedals. So, but they're 2 e-bikes, and then we have a golf cart they can ride around on. And Phil will go out, he'll drive around, he'll remind people of the rules of the park. Any type of confrontation, we tell them, back away and call for a commissioned deputy to come take care of it, because we don't want our volunteers to get any type of fights or big arguments. But it has been a huge help, and I encourage anybody that's interested in coming and doing that's a lot of help for us, because you take Freedom Park, so Alan Takeuchi, who's based down there during the summer, so he works a 5 days on, 4 days off, 5 days on, 5 days off schedule. And so he's there about every other weekend. He's there, and because the City of Stars graciously given us a little extra money for overtime, we've also staffed another full-time deputy during Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So they're out there with Alan. But sometimes Alan's alone, so if we have a volunteer, it really helps out. Just the presence of that Star PD logo and that Star Police golf cart driving around makes a big difference for that park. So if anybody's interested in doing it, I would highly encourage anybody to come out. Please, we'd love to build that where we have 8 to 10 volunteers and get more people involved in the community to help us out there. So
'Cause we can use them at other locations and stuff too at that point, right? Because we got a lot of active parks here in the city of Star, so.
yeah, pickleball is a big one too.
Yeah,
We don't have a lot of
We
problems.
haven't had any
with pickleball.
fights yet, but
Yeah.
yes, sir.
But we've got 2 long straightaways, and the delivery trucks tend to use that as sort of the Indy 500.
Mm.
If we wanted speed bumps in our subdivision, how do we do that?
We have to get with ACHD and they have to do a traffic study on that. You want to talk about it for me or? Okay. Hang on, let me get you the microphone. She's with ACHD, by the way, but don't throw rocks at her.
Hi, I'm Erin with ACHD. The best thing to do is like Mayor said, we're gonna have to do a traffic study. So we have a feature on our website. It says connect with us on the right-hand side of the website. Go ahead and hit that button and explain what you're interested in doing. You can download pictures, share all the information there, and then someone from ACHD will respond to you.
No, you do. You pay taxes. So, but let me answer, but the speed bumps, I'm gonna tell you, the fire hates them. They have to be a specific speed bump that gets put out there that allows the fire trucks to pass through them without going over them because it blows their springs and things like that on those trucks. So they're never in support of them, just so you're aware of that. But if it's a big problem area, it's something that, send me an email too, and I can help work with ACHD on that and we can look at that. Yep. Yep.
I just want to say thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
You guys on e-bikes on Juneteenth, and so anyhow, we just
Yeah, you bet.
resources to
We,
Thank you.
yeah, thank you. And that's, you never know until it gets developed, right? What it's going to turn into. And the problem is when the media comes out here and blows it out all over the place, it's like everybody in the world comes here, right? So we put in overtime this year, and next year, and we're adding another SRO for the elementary schools here that we'll have 2 SROs out there next year. So we'll have more coverage for that. And it's really good with their SROs too, because with the kids, they know how to deal with these kids, right? And they know a lot of these children out there and they can kind of control some of that. So, yeah.
Actually, the first question is, we talk about e-bikes and we talk about ATVs. What about horses? Are we allowed to ride through here?
Yeah, you can ride. You can ride your horses, yeah, throughout the community. Yep.
My second question,
Yeah, and don't ever take Santa Claus off the horse in Christmas.
Yeah, yeah.
We have Santa Claus riding through town. Have you ever seen it? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
okay, that's fair. My second question is more data centric. So I know that you guys release your data report usually right before the POP meeting, I think. What day is that going to come out and where will it be posted? Because I know that I'm sure May's data information is about to come out.
Yeah, so it kind of varies. So we do post on the website for the City of Star website. So what happens, the Ada County Sheriff's Office has a data analytics team. And so everything that they get through dispatch, so when we get a call or we go out on a call, it goes through dispatch. They collect all those numbers and they put it on the reports that I share once a month for City Council. It's usually around the 10th to the 12th when that comes out. And so I know I just gave the May report last Tuesday, and so I'm hoping the June report right around that, the 10th or 12th, it should hit the website.
Probably right, but the third Tuesday of the month is when it gets reported to the council, and about that time frame is when it gets put on the website for that. Yeah.
And part of the reason why it takes a little bit of time is we have to work with NIBRS as well. So that's the national database for all that. So when you look at the crimes, and it changes throughout, even at the end of the year, a couple months later, it can change. We try to follow what the national standards are with the FBI of how they report crimes. And so our analytics teams kind of bounce back and forth and waiting on them sometimes. So it does take about 10 to 12 days to get it out in the beginning of the month. So. No, they'll speak to the May one. They can pull some numbers themselves. So if there's something, I don't know if there's something in particular. Sure.
So we have a proactive policing model in the city of Star. And so you're going to see an uptick in some of those smaller crimes like that simply because of this proactive model. Because our whole goal is to avert having to have phone calls for service and have officer initiated calls, right? Because if you're doing officer initiated calls, that's a good thing. That means that we're catching it before it happens. And I just want to talk, so like the drug thing, right? We put K9 Luna on board this last year. or earlier this year, right? She came on board. Part of our goal is to hit all the drugs that we can out here on the street before they make it to our neighborhoods, right? And we have become known for not to bring your drugs by drug runners to come in through the city of Star because they know they're going to get busted. That's what this problem-oriented police team is. How we establish that team is for that process, right? And so you'll see. I think we see less people crimes that goes down when we have more officer-initiated calls because we're busting things ahead before things happen. It's kind of a cool deal. You kind of watch this thing, man. It's been really cool. We do, yeah. Sure. And then we also have the lowest crime rate in the valley. So just so you're aware, this has been this proactive model that we do, not everybody does that, but the proactive model that we do here in Star has been very effective on that. So, yeah.
And what you might be referring to, so there's 3 classifications of crimes. We have property, person, and then society crimes. Your society crimes, sorry, go ahead. Yes. So what happens is society crimes, your drug charges, your child enticement cases, those type of things. So the more proactive we are on making more traffic stops, the more chances we're getting drugs off the street. So what we saw last year was a good example of it because our POP team was actually worked the full year. That was, I think, the first year they were full in there. We saw our society crimes climb quite a bit, but our person crimes dropped by about almost 40%. Right.
Oh, there was a drop.
Just for the month. Yeah, I'm talking, yeah.
He's talking the year.
Yeah, the whole 2024, we saw, I think it's about a 38% drop in person crimes. And when you look at, to me, when you look at visiting a city or moving to a city, you're looking not only at the crimes, but you're looking at violent crimes. So how violent is this city? And person crimes is the violent. Those are your aggravated batteries. Those are your rapes. Those are your horrible crimes. All crimes are horrible, but that's your more violent crimes. So if we can have that drop, our society crimes go up, to me, it's overall a safer community because we could drop off our society crimes by quite a bit if we just weren't proactive. But I truly believe, I live in Star, and I truly believe in my whole heart that the more proactive we are, the safer the community is going to be. So,
all right. More question for Chief? That's easy. You got it easy.
right.
Okay, fire away. What question you got for me?
So there's a proposal to create an open air RV lot on Beacon Light at 9800 Beacon Light. It's adjacent to 3 subdivisions. There's already been a preliminary hearing here in the city of Star. Well, okay, I take that back. I'm mischaracterizing. There was a meeting.
It was a
neighborhood meeting. Okay, and I believe. Very good. So, but my understanding is on July the 17th at the Ada County Courthouse, there will be
So let me,
hearing about this.
it's a planning and zoning, Ada County Planning and Zoning Commission. It has nothing to do with the city of Star, right? It does have everything to do with the city of Star, but it has nothing to do with the city of Star government. It's all done through Ada County. I will tell you that the city of Star, we sent out a letter yesterday already requesting them to deny that project based off several things on there because it doesn't follow our comprehensive plan. It's a recognized area of the area of impact that they recognize with the city of Star, even as far back as 2004 as residential. It's a commercial use that's trying to be slammed into a residential community. So we have already sent off our letter from myself and our planning director asking them to deny that. And that's going through the Planning and Zoning Commission. The biggest thing I want to tell everybody is go testify. Go and testify or write a letter to testify. Because if they approve that, you have a right to request an appeal of that decision to the county commissioners, right? If you don't testify, you have no right. You consider yourself not to be a party of that project, okay? So everybody that's up there that's involved with that, I'm going to send, so some resident was asking me about this, has been asking me for a while. We just had to get our letter together and we sent it in yesterday, to request denial, and I'm going to send that out to her to hopefully disseminate to all you guys so you can talk about some of the same things if you want.
Subject. My biggest issue right now is it's a 40-mile round trip from Star to the courthouse and back to go to that hearing.
Sure.
Why can't that hearing be where the residents are that are affected by this?
Because you live in Ada County, it's an Ada County project. It's not the city project. Anywhere in Ada County that there's a hearing is done at the Ada County Courthouse, which is the home base for the court for them. Anything done in the city of Star will be done here within the city limits. So that's the reason. And so it will never be moved out here. That'll never happen. They'll always do it at the Ada County Courthouse. Yeah.
Property.
But it's not the same oil. They don't, there's some differences of opinion there with the Moyle family. Yeah, there is no conspiracy theory. Just throw that out right now. Yeah. Yeah, no, throw that out. But it's very important that you go out and testify. Everybody goes out and testifies with that, just like they do when they come here. You know, they would welcome the testimony on that, right? But it's got to be not emotional. Emotional testimony does no good. Throw that out the window. You have to have your facts, why you should deny that person a private property right. Okay? And the facts are what we wrote in this letter on that, and that will get out there. So, yeah. Sure. Well, you're talking RV storage or RV living? I will tell you, I don't know how many calls you get for Republic storage over here I got my RV in Republic. I've never had an issue in there, and it's been in there for 10 years. You what? Well, that's Garden City. That's not Star. Well, you got to classify the difference between the two cities. No, but it does happen. It's just like any business or anything else. I mean, we had somebody steal 2 paintings right in the middle of the day, right here off the wall in Star, City Hall. Yeah, not a lie. It just happened, right? Yeah, yeah. Apparently they really love those artists, but they stole a couple. I mean, so it happens, right? And you would think like, what is wrong with you? There's cameras right here, you know. I mean, it's kind of fun to watch these people and what they do, but it does happen. It's not now. I know, if it's like in Middleton, they have the RV lot, right, where people are staying and stuff like that. That's a totally different animal compared to, I think, a storage unit that's secured. Yeah. Yeah.
Shopping. A lot of these are major looking for, a large capital portfolio.
Have you talked to Dave Evans?
I haven't.
So Dave Evans is local. Zach Evans is the son that's doing this. They're building 27 retail storefronts over there by Epic Car Wash. And we asked them if they would come in here and build specifically for your need, for the locals that want to open up a business, because it's very difficult to spend the kind of money that Albertson's place wants, right, and try to be successful. And so they're coming in. And so I would get a hold of Dave Evans and talk to Zach about those spots over there. And they just submitted their plans to start that construction on that. Yeah. Reach out here to Barbara here at City Hall and we can get you their phone number. Actually, you know what? I'm going to give you Zach's phone number. Right. I'll just give you Zach's phone number real quick here. He'd be more than happy to talk to you. What's that? Here's that's Zach right there. So put that in there and reach out to him and talk to him about those spots over there. And there's multiple size. I mean, there's options to combine. I mean, depending on what you're doing, there's a lot of options for that. Yep. Well, this big complex, it's got 47,000 square feet of retail space. I don't know what's going in there yet. They're building the shells right now. They're working on all the deals, like folks like them that are trying to put in there. Yeah, Steakhouse is still going. I talked to Paul yesterday. They're still working through their design stuff on there. Yeah, before they can submit it. I told him I need steak, man. I want the butcher shop more than anything. Well, I know, but I want it here. Yeah, I got Paul on speed dial. Yeah. Yeah. It's just marinating. Aged beef. Yeah. Yeah, it's really good meat over there. Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited for it. What's that? Yeah, they're still coming. Yeah. Yep, I talked to them yesterday.
Did you tell us last time that Lowe's has backed out of?
Yeah, Lowe's withdrew their application. Yeah, what they've done is they have, with the tariffs that were going on at the time, they pulled out of a lot of communities and focusing on some really large cities right now. Doesn't mean they're not going to try to come back, but right now there is no application on the table. Yeah. What? Well, the bridge at Freedom Park? Well, because so that whole dirt area in front of that is going to be our Veterans Garden. Something that Dana has put together. It's actually going to start. Yeah, I think the week after the 4th is when we're going to start concrete and stuff.
Yeah, as soon as Dave is done with the concrete up at Boot Hill Park, then
Yeah.
he's going to start working on the forms for the pathways at the Veterans Park. So
Yeah.
it's a process, but it is happening.
You can actually cross that if you want. If there's still things on the other side, they just put that up when they're moving concrete to the other side for the pads. Yeah. What do you mean, what section? The Veterans Garden? Oh, yeah, we're doing that, yeah. No. It's all, no, it's us. That's doing that. It's Dana with lots of plants.
I will tell you that it's designed by the landscape designer who did, it's old Bella Aquila. The
Oh.
corner of State and Eagle Road. That's the landscape designer who did this. It is a beautiful plan, so just bear with the dirt a little bit longer, but it is going to be stunning.
Well, the what?
Yes,
Oh, what?
I've put it out there before. If you come to my veterans meeting, I put it out there.
Yeah,
Well,
we
I will
we
show
got
it
it
to
out
you.
there.
I'm
It's gonna
happy
be
to share it
beautiful.
with you.
Yep. So you can use that bridge if you want to cross it right now. It's gonna, basically when you come off that bridge on this side where the dirt is, it's gonna be elevated concrete. It's gonna roll off on two sides of that. Will be some railing, additional railing and stuff like that. And the Veterans Garden is gonna start down below with pathways and plants. Yeah. Yeah, the artwork on the bridge. Yeah, I don't know if you guys seen it. We combine a horseshoe with a star. The kind of, the history of that bridge coming out of Horseshoe Bend, with the star in it and stuff. It looks really cool. And it's got Freedom Park. So, and it's rusted, and that's on purpose. Just so everybody's aware. We're going to seal that rust on there here eventually, but they want it to all rust out so it all look the same on there. Okay? Any other questions? Yes, sir. Which one? Oh. Yep. Mhm. Well, I'll give you the no. What we're doing. Are you talking about the parking and all that kind of stuff? Yeah. Yeah. So what we're doing right now, I had to get with ACHD because they're public roads out there, right? And so we have to work with ACHD. Otter Rock and the next neighborhood, or next street over, is going to be considered residential parking only. But we have to work on an ordinance, and Director Head has been helping me with this ordinance that we have to approve here at the city level before we can have signs placed. The goal is the neighbors on those two streets, well, there's, two sides of both streets are going to get 4 placards each for parking only in their neighborhood, in that area. So that's what we're doing for that. Out there at that little parking lot, as you drive in, we're going to be striping that red on the curbs there, and it's going to be fire parking only on that, okay? And so that's going to eliminate some of that challenge that we see with that. I think these guys have been going after you guys parking along those areas there from folks as well to make certain that not, right now, that anybody can park along there, right? They're a public street, but there's a lot of places in this county that have neighborhood parking only. I will tell you, I went to Boise High School. The whole north end is all neighborhood parking ever since I was a kid. I told Mayor McLean one day, I probably have $1,000 worth of parking tickets I still haven't paid, right? So we've had neighborhood residential parking forever, right? Yeah, yeah. You can check it out, but I really don't care. You know, that was at the time. I even sent Lauren McLean my parking ticket I got downtown. I said, I ain't paying that. You can pay my ticket. I had to go to your event, so you pay it. But anyway, but that's what we're doing down there. I don't know what other questions you have on that. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yep.
This is, so people coming from the area, you know, they use that, you know. There was one guy.
I think so this is the same speed bump question and stuff that we're doing.
Speed bumps, you know, if it ends up as speed bumps, that's fine, and I know it's gotta go this route. And I don't wanna put it on PD because they're already
Right.
handful, but, you know, I'm ready to throw bricks out in the middle. People going by, 'cause they've almost.
No, I get that. Yeah. So what we've done also,
Like these,
ACHD, we've already been working with them and they were doing some speed study already in that area and see what kind of traffic calming, whether it's speed bumps or bulb outs or whatever they decide to do on that to try to slow that down through there. Because it is a thoroughfare, right? I get it. I drive through it. When someone sends me a message, I'll go check it out first before I respond, just to kind of get an idea of what they're talking. But I've been around there long enough now that I get it. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Don't throw a brick at my green Jeep, though. I won't be speeding, I promise you. No, it's okay.
But follow up on what Jeff asked. I know the parking ordinance is in the works,
Mhm.
but like 4th of July, you said, did I hear you say that no parking in the lots of the park?
This is just down at Hunters Creek Park.
Okay, so this
Doesn't apply with Freedom Park, yeah. It's just at Hunters Creek Park, we have all the food vendors going in on the one side and ADA parking. On the other side has to be shut off because of all the fireworks. And there's a lot of fireworks over on that side, yeah. So it'll be all right for that. Well, okay, let me back up. It's the fourth, it'll be 4th of July with a lot of people out there.
Just to follow up on Jeff's question too, that breakwater was involved.
Is that the second street over? You got Arter Rock, Breakwater? Oh, yes, yeah. Right. So we're working with ACHD on what that's going to look like for that segment right there. Sure. We're looking at several different options. Do we create no parking all the way along it? Do we create one side that's no parking and one side that's parking? Right? Or does it stay open? That's something we're still working through with ACHD. So I know what you're talking about. You can't get through. Yeah. I don't think we could do that for just residents on that section because it doesn't directly impact the residential units that are there on that. But I'll get, as soon as we get it figured out, we'll let you know on that one.
So for instance, if you were on West Otter, but that's zone A. So those residents on West Otter have their 4 parking passes per house. So right there, I can't do the math right now, but maybe you have 80 parking passes just in that street alone. But if the HOA or the city that we're gonna add more parking passes, then we're potentially perpetuating the problem that we're trying to.
Oh, why would they add more parking passes? Because they have to come through the city. We're only adding two. We're only going to do the streets that are directly impacted by the park right there.
A recent, maybe we should talk to you separately.
Yeah.
outside of this, but there was a recent email from the HOA
There's the streets around the east pond, right? There's two ponds. So the streets around the east pond and then Otter Rock and the street directly adjacent and parallel to that, behind that would be the, what is it called? Lawferry, whatever that is, just those streets. Hercules, yeah.
Then there's, and then of course,
Yeah, we'll talk about it because it's just those streets that we're working on with ACHD for that. Yeah. Well, we're not, so here's the deal. I am not going to regulate the passes. The passes are going to the people of the house. It's up to you guys to determine how you're going to use your pass. There's just no possible way to regulate that. And there's no possible way that these guys can regulate that or zone it. Well, we can look at that, but we'll figure that out. Yeah. That's a different thought on that I hadn't thought about on there. So we'll talk to Ace. Yeah. Right. Leave me alone, neighbor. Right. No, I get it. Would
We understand that we're already discussing the fact that it's only for the homes that are being affected.
correct.
There's been people who are asking for, well, I want one too because I like the park.
They go park at Freedom Park or walk. I mean, that's my thing. Yeah, we're not going that far. This is not a parking pass. If I do that, I might as well just leave it open. You know, that, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm not cutting it down. I'm giving 4. It's not your decision. It's my decision as a city on that. I just want to tell you guys that because 2 is not enough. If they have a party at their house, there's awfully more than two friends that come, right? So we're going to go with 4. But you can get 2 or 3. I can get 3 in those if I park it tight. I guess the whole thing is, we're going to give out. No, we're going to give out 4. That's what's been decided, just so you're aware. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And responsive. So thank you.
Well,
Not only like just recent, but you have been starting last year involved in this conversation and then.
yeah, it's been a little bit on that one. It's been a diver. Okay. Okay, hey, but guys, just real quick, I don't want to make this about Heron River in here, okay? That's a different animal in itself, right?
One last thing
Okay.
about that, sir. The HOA is trying, there's people on the HOA that are trying to make personal decisions for the entire association. They're trying to use other streets, but they have issues with owners accessing common areas of Heron River to either launch their boat or
Sure.
or whatever. They're trying to include certain other streets and permits to block people out of those.
No, I get it.
But if you could use as the mayor, the ACHD and public access to the park, trying to overflow the streets versus HOA issues of residents.
Yep.
Going to common areas, keep them separate, don't put it in the same.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. Yeah. So the Northern Idaho Bridge is going to be, it's a couple-year process right now for that. It's a 250-foot bridge. If you guys have seen the bridge right behind the River House in Freedom Park, we got that from Horseshoe Bend. It's a similar project. It's 250 foot from Cataldo. Right now, the tribe that bridge is on the river is in the negotiations with the state on that bridge. Before they could even start the project of replacing that bridge, there's some historical value for the tribe as well. So they're trying to figure out what the mitigation is going to be for that. I don't remember if it's a Coeur, I can't remember which one. It's out there by, I can't remember, is it St. Joe or Coeur d'Alene? Which one's out there? Coeur d'Alene, yeah. And then, so when we're talking about the trail here, as part of this widening project, we're going to have a connection to the Greenbelt system here very soon, right? This widening project's tied into that. They've been buying the 70 pieces of right of way that they've had to buy along Highway 44 so they can do that, the 10-foot pathway all the way to Stillwater and Eagle where the Dutch Brothers is and connect it here to Highway 16. And so the M2 or M3 development, Moon Valley across the way, we require them to put a pathway along Highway 16, which is already there. And then we have the pathway that go under the bridge. Currently, it goes down along Paul Larson's property and the apartment complex there. There's a pathway that comes down, but eventually it'll cross the river there as well. And because we have easements along the south side of the river already for the Greenbelt, right? So as soon as we could get this bridge in place, we'll start working on those pathways. We have some of what's going to pay for this is we have impact fees coming for our pathways. Police impact fees, pathway impact fees, and updating our park impact fees, right, for new development on that. And so that's going to be some of the mechanisms that are going to help pay for those projects there. On top of some grants we're going to try to go get. Yeah. So once and the nice thing is the state is already talking about helping us ship it down too, for cost wise. They were talking about giving us $100 grand to help ship. I'm like, that's fantastic. We'll take that all day long, right? I think we were the first city to do this. And now they got another one that another municipality is doing. So they're using a lot of the information that we did on this project here to help these other guys out on getting those bridges reused there. Cool. Other question? Yes, sir.
Part of the citizens committee on fire levy and losing again.
Yep.
And my understanding is it's going to be on the ballot in the fall.
If the commission hasn't approved that yet, but they have to approve that to go on. I know that's their desire to do that. Yeah. Yeah.
Expect a different fall. We did have Representative Moyle and Nick come to the meeting tonight. They were kind enough to listen to the committee, but there's really seems like there's no solution for the funding problem that we face in getting station staff. Is it HB 389 that's in the way? Is it?
Yeah, House Bill 389 that was established back in 2021, I think 2020 or 21, is what created the issue that we're facing right now. It's created the budget shortfalls where new construction isn't paying for itself, right? There is not a desire. I don't care who it is in the state. The unfortunate part is no legislature has the political willpower to try to override any portion of that bill. Because what that's effectively going to do is add property tax to people on that because of what they've done. They've created a levy rate that's so low that it's almost impossible to come back from without increasing everybody's levy, right? That's the challenge. We are trying to find alternate solutions to 389, working on a PSID, a public safety improvement district concept that's similar to a community infrastructure district or an LID, where new construction has to pay an additional tax for 10 years is how we're proposing it to help pay for the additional personnel only throughout the state. It's just, it's up to the district to determine if they want to do it or not. It's not going to be forced that you have to do this, but if you need to do it, then you can. We do have Speaker Moyle and House Majority Leader Monks on board with us, and Greg and I have been working on. We had a meeting again this morning about it, right, and trying to work on some of the data. There's no guarantee that that's going to pass either. With any bill, they always try to add stuff to these things. My focus is on public safety. Others in the legislature want us to do this also with schools. Can't do that with school because you can't get everybody's buy-in on that right now, right? I get that need right now, right? The state's just trying to find a different way for the state that's required to fund our schools to throw a mechanism in there for that, right? At the local level. Well, at the local level, that's not my responsibility. Mine's public safety, ACHDs, the roads and things like that. So we're hoping to have a bill in place that will help pay for personnel for police, fire, and EMS throughout the state on the backs of the new construction that's coming in and not impact the current residents, right? Because in reality, The new construction is creating the need for that. But it's a 10-year deal and we're working on like different ideas and thoughts on that where, you know, I'm just going to put a hypothetical number out there. Let's say it's $1,000 extra on a house, right? And this is for easy math. Some are saying, well, let's do the $1,000 extra a year for 10 years. Some of us are saying, well, let's sunset that. Oh, it's going to sunset in 10 years, but let's reduce that by 10% every year because you're going to have new construction coming on board every year, right? That's going to help fund that. So we're working through all the data and the numbers of that to try to figure out how to make it work. And the whole goal is to make it simple, right? Not something that's convoluted like 389 created with our counties on trying to figure out how to do fictitious levy rates and all this kind of stuff to determine what your growth can be this year. So everybody, there's a lot of places in the same boat. I will tell you, I'm the legislative liaison for all 198 cities in the state of Idaho. So it's my conversation that I've had. We just had a conference last week that we've been having with all these cities throughout the state, and everybody's on board with this. It's a common problem. And it's not just a city problem, it's a district problem. It's not, you know, some cities have police and fire. Some have they have fire districts, you know, some have, like us, we don't have our own police, we contract it. It's a little different, but we still can get the funding mechanism for this, right? Utilizing this to help pay for police. Things that we're doing differently in the city right now is every new house that's built, no one else is doing this in the state, is they're being required to pay, I think it's $3,250. How much for the police? $3,300 extra fund that goes into a fund to help pay for the additional police on the new construction. No one else is doing that. We're trying to find a solution to help pay for the public safety because we feel that it's very important in there, right? The Building Contractors Association helped develop that funding formula for us, right? They don't necessarily like the amount, but they helped develop the funding formula. It's the reason that's staying in place is so we can try to have them help us on the back end to create this PSID to work around House Bill 389 to help fund our public safety that we also desire, right? Fire is a crazy thing, right? It's insurance. And it's very interesting to hear the comments that are made on this to me. You're paying for insurance. You hope to God you never have to use it. But if you have to use it, you hope to hell that they're coming quickly and not 8-10 minutes away because they're on another call, right? That's the craziest thing for me is just some of the thought processes of, well, I don't want to pay more taxes. Well, you're paying less taxes today. Even with that increase, you're still paying less than what you were paying before. Idaho is one of the lowest property tax states in the country, right? It's the only mechanism that these organizations have to pay for those services. It doesn't grow on trees. The state's never going to give us money. The feds aren't going to give us money for those options, right? We have to figure out how to find those solutions ourselves. If the corporations will do it. No, there's always a way, but is it a permanent solution? The challenge you have to have a permanent solution. You can't have a temporary solution in these because you'll never be able to hire the firefighters that you need because they're going to move. And you're going to spend way more money training and constantly retraining and training unless you have a guarantee that these guys can stay here and grow, right? Taco Bell, no, Anderson. Oh, Matt Anderson, yeah. Right.
How do we get this? Where's the fundraising concert that pays for part of this?
Sure. Yeah. Can't be temporary. You got to have some sort of ongoing funding mechanism to make it be successful, or a combination of them all. I mean, it's very possible that can happen too, right? Yeah. They do. Well, they do that right now. No, not right now, but they do that. Middleton Fire District is separate from Star Fire District. And there's a joint powers agreement that helps them put dual personnel in all these stations. So we have enough, right? There's not enough. You have to have more. You have to have at least 9 more firefighters to do that station. So I want to, everybody needs to understand something. The state limits the ability of the fire districts or any taxing districts to even make positive comments to try to get it levied. The state does not allow that. If you guys seen these last elections, you haven't seen me say a thing because I can't. I'm not allowed to. Well, they can. That's why there's a citizens committee to try to help drive that message.
For the off-duty firefighters. Put up signs and make.
The fire union can do it, but the fire district cannot. Right? Yeah.
Or was paid for by. Could say, well, yes.
Yes.
But anything.
City can't say anything. And let's say if I screw up and I do say it in an email or anything like that and it passes, it could get challenged and get overturned. And then we're back to square one. So you'll never see that happen. That's the challenges that we're facing. Well,
Thousand, give or take, whatever, and only maybe 3,500 people showed up to vote.
no, we had a like 9% voter or 8% voter turnout. That's typical. You can go online to Ada County's website, election website, and get that from everybody. We have, for whatever reason, well, presidential elections and governmental elections are always the highest attended elections. I think that's a mistake. I mean, it's a good thing. Your local elections should be your highest because that's where you're directly impacted at the local level, right? Huh? No, they're not. But that's the mentality's got to change a little bit because your mayor's races, your fire commissioner's races, your sewer district races, all that stuff matter, right? That's where it's just changing people's thoughts and ideas on when to go vote. You can't force them to vote. You know, you gotta be willing to go vote. Yeah. VoteIdaho.gov, very easy, simple resource to use. You can use it on your phone. You don't have to print and spend all that money mailing stuff out. Everybody has a phone. You can go look exactly where you need to vote. You can go look at your sample ballot on there. There's no excuses. It's there. It's just you got to be willing to go look for it, right? The state, not to be mentioned, is we don't do voting like that state. It never will be that way. It's just this is how we do it in the state of Idaho. Yeah. No, that's Ada County. So we got two different, the question is about EMS. So we got Ada County EMS. That's a separate taxing district, and a Canyon County EMS on the Canyon County side is a separate taxing district. They are not included in that levy with the fire district in Star or in the fire district in Middleton. Completely different animals on there. The county commissioners actually will approve their budgets on those sides too. So I will, yeah.
There's buses and police get come grab you and you've got buses, using school buses, having these like points, driving.
Well, no. The city does not own the buses. That's a different deal with the school districts. We can't do that. You as a neighbor have every right and ability to drive down the street and pick up every single person and take them to the voting booth on there, right? The city, Dana, does a great job of putting the information out on all the social media networks that we have about voteidaho.gov and go check this out. Whether people look at that or not, we can't force that, right? I know, I get it. We just got to remember, it's so different. We'll talk to Mike Moyle about People cannot even drop off their family's ballots at the mailbox anymore, right? The person has to drop it off, right? So, I mean, they've limited a lot of that ability. You know, you can pick them up, and you can go, here's my suggestion as a committee. Go talk to Valley Regional Transit, VRT. That's the counties or the metro, the MPO, the Metropolitan Planning Areas Transit System. They have senior buses and stuff like that. Go work with them on trying to establish routes to pick up these folks to get them to the polling places. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's, yeah, very crazy. Yeah. No, the fire district is established already, so we won't be doing our own fire department here. The police, that's been an interesting conversation. Right now, we have the best of a lot of worlds being on a contract because, what was it? I can't remember what year that murder in the park was. Summer 21? December 25th, 21. We had two individuals come in the Star, one killed the other on Christmas in a park. Yeah, yeah, and not even related to the Star. We had 17 detectives like that, right, from Ada County, even that were able to assist in this, and they had it solved within 48 hours. If we're to try to do that on our own, that's hard, right, on that. And so we have SWAT, we have all this kind of stuff that's available to us through the county side. Doesn't mean that we're not looking at it. I mean, we're gonna have to weigh costs. You know, the whole HR function and stuff is done by them. I don't have to have that department to try to do police and all the background tracks and get them into training and do all the training and stuff that they're required to do. That's all already established through the sheriff's office. But yeah, I mean, it's a constant conversation. No, so Public Works is different. So sewer and water is its own district too, right? There's 198 cities. Every city is completely unique and different in how they operate. Some have their own sewer and water. Some have their own roads. Ada County, we don't control any of our roads. We have zero say on the roads. Canyon County side, cities and every other county control their own roads. So they have a bigger, more robust public works. Our public works here is more of our parks and maintenance and facilities concept here on that. Yeah. Middleton, they control their own roads. So they have a different public works department and they have their own sewer and water system. So they deal with sewer and water, roads, and their parks over there. So everybody's a little bit unique and a little bit different on that. Yeah.
This office, podcast this. Well, if somebody called back, no call. And they got plenty of somebody else. But from the right-hand corner, you look up this website, that's there. There's nothing here. You have no presence.
We do. We actually do. Dana does this all the time for us and it's on our city meetings page, right? Yeah. We have a meetings page. No, this is live. Right now, it's currently live. Yeah, so it is live. Our city council meetings are live on there. Yep. All this technology that we have right here, we actually started putting this up in January before COVID hit and it worked out perfect. So, yeah. I'm sorry that happened. But it is on our city's website and stuff on there that you can access these meetings, even archive meetings on there. You can watch them live. Now I will tell you, was it the last one we had a system issue? Everything was down, so we couldn't do anything on that. Yeah, we couldn't get the whole thing up. The whole computer thing crashed on us on that, so we couldn't do that one live, but they are live. We've done live since 2020 on there. Yeah. But then you could go back and watch them if you wanted to. Kingsbury. We are at Kingsbury right now. That's as far as we're going to go. Far north, our comprehensive plan, if you go online and look at our comprehensive plan, takes us up to the Jim County line up Highway 16. So it's kind of like a square. And then Chinden is our border on the south. Highway 16 is really our border, but except for around 44, we go to Palmer, Moon Valley, and then we also annexed in DeWalt up here because they needed different services and they were nowhere near Eagle on that and they can get the services right under the road over there. Yeah. So that's our area. And I would go on to the planning and zoning page on our website, and the comprehensive plan's right there. And we're getting ready to, so a couple things. We're getting ready to update our comprehensive plan. I suggest everybody provide input on that and get involved with that. Because that tells us how the city's going to grow in the future as far as densities and things like that, right? We also are doing a downtown revitalization plan coming up here in August 7th. Is that what I said the open house was last year? We're going to do an open house down at the River House that day to provide input on what we want the downtown core of STAR to look like and what the feel is going to be like. And we need everybody's input on that. It's important that the community gets involved and helps develop that. When we did a big comprehensive plan update in 2019, we had over, and at that time, the city was only about 10,000 people. We had 1,000 comments and participation on that in the comprehensive plan. So the comprehensive plan that we see, we had a lot of, in reality, that's a ton of participation, right? I'd like to get as many going on that as, again, for the updated one that we're doing, right? So that's a good question. Thank you. What other questions we have? We got like 8 minutes. And then we're locked in forever. We got more questions. Come on. We got to have more. What you said you're going to yell at me, and I haven't been yelled at yet. What? More like, okay, so, okay, I'm glad you. Okay, I'm glad you said that. My staff, Ryan Field, actually called me earlier today because he was down on the other side of town and he saw the backing up that was going on. So he contacted me and said the lights aren't synced. I sent it off to ACHD today already. And so it's going to take them to go and sync these lights. They're going to have to come out here and get those adjusted. So they will get adjusted. I get it. It's a new light. They got to make some adjustments and we adjust from there and make it work. Just like what happened at Highbrook when they put that one in. Same thing that happened at Plummer when they put that one in, right? On there. So we'll get them all adjusted on there. But that was sent off today. I don't know how long it's going to take them to get it. I wish she was still here. I could ask her, but how long it would take to get it done. So we had no lights for a long time here in Star. Star was very tiny. 300 people, or 300, 400 people back in 1993 when I met my wife out here. It's grown a lot in that time frame. And it's not slowing down. Everybody's still moving. It's crazy. What else we got? Just listening? Huh? Observer. Any more questions for Chief? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. And we'll get, where do you live at? Oh, you were in Star Point? Oh, good. Where'd you go to school? Oh, you were an Idaho Falls guy. Oh, you were Bishop Kelly? Yeah, I was Boise High, so yeah. That's all right. Idaho Falls, yep, you got a question?
No, I was just going to remind everybody that the police open house is next Wednesday, July 2nd at 6 o'clock. And I just got an email from Sergeant Steele. They are going to be covering Star Pond rules down at the Freedom Park, fireworks laws, and fishing in the ponds, HOA ponds, and also e-bikes.
Okay, cool. Perfect. There you go. Did you get all that? Make sure she got it all written down. She takes a lot of good notes. She's gonna be our minutes taker for these things. Hey, get it for us. So I did a walkthrough of the fire station today. Very nice station. And I will tell you, our fire chief is very frugal, does a great job on these things. Less than $4 million on that fire station that's built when Boise is spending 15, 16 million bucks. Meridian is spending the same thing. A bridge. Yeah, this bridge is awesome. Yep. Love it. I want more. Another 250 footer. That's only 90. I want bigger or better. And I'll figure out a way to get it funded through the state somehow. Right? Cool. So, hey, thank you guys for showing up and coming. This is awesome. The more people, the merrier. Bring them all in. I love it. I think we do them every month on whatever this Wednesday is. Fourth Wednesday of every month at 3:30 here, okay? So thank you so much. Enjoy. Make sure you come down to our 4th of July. It's gonna be epic, like always. Every year, I'm gonna try to make my, golf cart look like a helicopter.
I'll leave the Corvette